Okay, Bruce. James Parker, how's it going, mate? Thanks for joining my online academy, sending me your first golf swing in. I think we can. I think we can really work on some stuff to help you out here. So just jumping straight into it. Just going through your online questionnaire that you filled out for me. So you've actually put down that you're push slicing it. Pushing a push slice. Well, what I'm seeing here is definitely a path with the club head that's going out to in, that's going across the ball, right? And you can even see there how the ball's starting a little bit left. If we draw a straight line, maybe do this in green. Draw a straight line through the ball, kind of parallel with that club on the ground. Right, you can see how that ball's just starting straight left. Now, the camera is pretty much going down the target line. Next time when you send me a swing, and try and get the camera angle where it's pointing straight in line with the hands. That'll be a lot easier to analyze. But we can definitely get going today. So just giving you the diagnosis first. For me, it's a pull slice, or pull fade, right? Because it's starting left and the path's going out to in. So just with the path going out to in, you're going to be robbing yourself of a bit of distance, right? And the path going out to in is where the slice is going to come from as well. With just have that blade slightly open to that path, and you're going to see a shot shape like that, right? So that's the first thing. We've got to change the path of the club, right? We've got to get the club coming at the ball a little bit more from the inside, and attack the ball a bit more from the inside. Okay. The next one is the consistent ball striking. Well, excuse me. Well, that when you're saying consistent ball striking, I'm assuming you're meaning top shots and fat shots. And that's because as you come down, all right, so just giving you the diagnosis with this, that's because as you're coming down, look how your head, there's a little bit of movement from the camera. You've obviously got someone holding the camera, right? So next time, if you can just get it on a tripod or a stick or something like that, something which is going to keep the camera steady. But what I did was I put a line next to your left ear and a couple of lines outside your hips. And then as you come down, you can see just how much your head is moving away from that red line, right? So the head's moving away from the red line, right? So now at impact, there, you've got all this space in here, which is where your head's gone back too much, right? So the head's gone back too much, so you've just kept your weight too much on this back foot, right? We want to be over, we want the head to stay central, but we want our hips to move forward at impact on the downswing, right? A little bit on the backswing as well, but most of all on the downswing, so that you can get your the center of your hips more over your left foot, so you're balancing on your left foot, right? That's an impact. So if you're not there with your hips moving forward and you're moving your head back this way, so you're not keeping your head centered, well, your weight's just too far back, right? We need the weight forward, but just going a little bit deeper into that, we want the hips to move forward, but we want the head to stay nice and central. And I'll maybe pull up an example for you in a second, right? So let's get someone up like, Grant Way. I love going back to Grant Way. Such a good model to use. So if I draw a line next to his left ear, a couple of lines outside of his hips, and we kind of stop you. Let's go up to the top first. So a little bit of movement up to the top, right? So you can see now how you've got starting to be a little bit of, I'll do this in red. I'll do this in green. So you can see a little bit of space there with the just next to your left ear. He gets up to the top, he keeps his left ear there, right? So the feeling for you is definitely going to be that you're going to have to move your head closer to the target, because compared to what you're doing, that's what it's going to feel like, just to keep it centered, right? So just to give you an idea, there's the center of his shoulders, which are dead smack bang in the middle of his feet, right? Now, as he goes back, we're just pivoting around the center of his shoulders. Now his hips move forward, but the center of his shoulders pretty much stays there, look. Right? If anything, they're going to slightly more towards the target. So you can see his left ear's going the other side of that red line, right? But you can see the difference in impact positions there, right? He's kept his head pretty central, right? Steady head. And he's moved his hips forward. So now he's got all this space moving away from that red line with his right pocket. You actually move your head back and down. So now you've got all this space, right? And this space through your next to your left hip. So you're going the opposite way, mate. You're going the opposite. You're going too much to the right when we should be going to the left, right? So we need a drill. We need a drill to give you that feeling. So we'll talk about that in a second. So that's the steady head concept, right? It's like, right, if we're gonna start to work on your golf swing to get you attacking the ball more from the inside, I want to build you a better movement pattern. So that would be the first one. Head's got to stay in the middle of the stance. You set up to it, it's in the middle of your stance. You make your backswing, it's in the middle of your stance. As you come down, it's still in the middle of your stance, it's just the hips moving forward. Watch his belt buckle. Right, watch his belt buckle. There. Right, so even just at the start of the downswing, look how much that belt buckle moves. And then the belt buckle gets over the left foot at impact, right? So we want head steady and we want our hips moving forward. So a couple of things so far: steady head and weight forward, meaning you've got to get your belt buckle over your left leg. That's at impact, right? Get used to hitting the ball more on your left foot. Get the weight, get your hips over your left foot to get the weight over there. Get used to balancing on that left foot, hitting golf shots, and then get used to balancing on the left foot to finish, right? So that takes care of those sort of angles. Now, pull your swing up on that one, and we get a model from down the line. And the guy that I would like to use here is a guy named Charlie Wee, right? And what I want to point out is the direction that the hands travel, right? So if I put a little line, put a little green line next to his, just above his hands, put a little line just above your hands. When he takes the club away, watch where his hands and his left arm are going. So we're moving from P1 to P2, P1 to P2. His hands are travelling up the bottom red line, right? And then he gets his arm across his chest. When you take the club away, your hands move up and out the other side of the green line, and then at P2 your arm is out there and the club's out there. But I mean the club's going to move. The club's going to move in a different direction if you move your hands and the left arm in a different direction, right? So if we get rid of these lines and just put a green line where your left arms are, you can see the difference there, right? You see the difference there. So in a nutshell there, you know, the things that we've got to change, right? The diagnosis, the things that we're going to be working on in these videos that you send me are all going to relate to working on your low point, getting your weight for keeping your head steady, and getting your weight forward. That's going to get you striking the ball better, and also working on your path, right? So we need to work on a better movement pattern to get your path coming at the ball from the inside. You're coming at the ball out to in, that way, right? So the first place I would start would be get your hands moving in. Can you show me a takeaway next lesson you send me in? Can you show me a takeaway where your left arm is tucked more across your chest, your hands are moving more inward, right? You watch the dot. So there's his toe line, right? Put a line across your toes, right? You've got a club across your toes, pretty much, right? Now you watch where his hands and his left arm go in relation to that stick across his toes. Boom, inward, right? So the direction is a lot more inward than that stick along your toes, right? And maybe in your takeaway, you're just trying to get your hands going along that line on the ground, along that stick on the ground, going a bit too straight. And in the process, you've just gone a bit too much and gone out, right? But what I want to see, give it a week, give it a couple of weeks to go and practice. But I want to see your hands move inward more, right? To show me a better takeaway. And then that affects your backswing, right? So you kind of pick it up very much there from your takeaway position. So you can see your hand, the club's now going through your neck, whereas his club is kind of going through the base of his right bicep, right? Look how far across his chest his arm is there. And your arm is just still straight here, so it's not even across your chest. So that's going to affect how much you turn, right? The more inward you can move your hands there, getting your left arm across your chest, the more that's going to pull your torso around. So you're going to see a golf swing with a much better turn, if you like. So they're the changes that would need to take place, mate, to start with, without overcomplicating it. You know, those three things. We want a steady head. We want to get the weight forward. We want to get your hips over your front foot to get the weight forward at impact. And we want to move our hands. We want to move our hands inward more on the takeaway. So how would we do it, right? How would we go about implementing these? If we were gonna spend an hour or so on the golf range together, how would we go about implementing these changes? Well, the first thing I would do, is I'd probably get you. Where's my elk drill? Yeah, the first thing I would do is probably get you. This is a video I pulled up off YouTube. Right, this is Steve Elkington. They caught him on. I guess he was on TV. I mean, someone put it on YouTube. But it's basically Elkington practicing bending backwards, right? Extending up to the top, and you can see which way his head's going, right? His spine's bending that way, but his head's going the other way to what yours is, to the pattern that you've got going on, right? So you look at his chest, it's like his chest is pointing right up to the sky up here, right? As he bends his back backwards, gets his head the other side of the green line. So I would like you to, whenever you're making a change, you've got to try and do the opposite of what you're doing at the moment, right? So your head's moving this way. I want you to practice going the other way, right? And just so you don't think I'm crazy, I would put up a PGA Tour winner, right? Major winner, Steve Elkington, right? Just practicing that, right? And then you see that's his feeling, and then he just takes it into his normal golf swing, right? So you can see as he goes back, watch how his head stays nice and central there. See that? That's what we want. Now what we want is for the hips to move forward. Right, now he actually drops his head back a little. Now I wouldn't mind if you dropped your head back a little bit, but you're not getting your hips forward. Right, your hips don't get over your front foot like that at impact, right? So you haven't made all this space from that back green line, and you haven't got the centre of your hips over your front foot, right? So that's what we're trying to do with when I talk about getting your weight forward, right? So that's one drill I'd practice. I'd practice moving your head towards the target, not away from it. I'd also practice coming down and getting. Let's pull them back up. I'd also practice coming down with that movement pattern. I'd also practice coming down and just stopping there in slow motion and just feeding the information into your brain. Right? We want the hips more over your left foot. You can see how his hips now. Center of his hips, or his, let's use his belt buckle as a reference. Over his left foot, right? So I would practice coming down and balancing on your left foot to kind of teach your brain where we want to be at impact. And then from there, keep balancing on the left foot as you complete your turn all the way through. And just get used to your new finish, balancing on your left foot, right? So that's the next thing I'd do. And the other thing after that, like I said, would be practicing your left arm. Make sure your left arm's moving more across your chest during your takeaway. All right, mate. So there's 3 things to go and work on, which I think will start to transform your golf swing. Go and give that a week. Give it a couple of weeks, and then send me over another video. If you have any questions, just shoot me over an email. Thanks, Bruce.